Welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson entertainers better. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm here with my co-host, Haley Westrich. Good afternoon.
Hi.
It's good to be here.
Good to be back.
So we got an awesome guest today.
We do. We have Christina Tabuchi.
And so I'm excited to get to talk to
Yes.
her. And, our first episode we got to talk to her dad,
Right.
Shoji.
That was really cool.
So it's really awesome to have her here. And so I'm looking forward to talking to her in just a few minutes.
Yes.
But before we get to that interview, we're going to go to our dumb questions or things that make you go, If you ever watched the Arsenio Hall show years ago, he used to do this, and I loved it. And so we feel like there's enough bad news on TV. We just want to do something fun. Hopefully it makes you laugh, or maybe you just think it is dumb, and that's okay too. We're fine with that. And then at the end, we have a little good question that we ask that makes you kind of think about stuff. So here's the first one. If a jogger runs at the speed of sound, can he or she still hear his iPod? I don't know.
I don't know.
If they run that fast, can they hear it? How can someone draw a blank?
I've never thought of that.
I don't know. Here's a good one. Why do they call it a TV set when you only get one?
Very true.
Think about that. There's no set there.
Nope.
Why is it that when you transport something by car, it is called a shipment, and when you transport something by a ship, it's called cargo? That's a pretty interesting one.
Yeah.
I like that one. Okay, here's the good question. This one I think is an interesting question.
Okay.
Assuming that complete recovery would happen instantaneous, would you be willing to accept a year of being paralyzed below the neck to prevent the otherwise certain extinction of a species of animal?
I don't think I could.
That would be hard.
It would be very hard.
So I think it might depend on the animal for
That's
me.
true.
But this is just a thought-provoking question, is kind of what would you do if
Right.
type thing. We wouldn't want to wish that on anybody,
No.
but that was the question. So, folks, we'll be back in just a moment to talk to Christina Tabuchi.
The Best Western Center Point Inn. It's Branson's top hotel in the heart of Branson's entertainment, next to the Titanic Museum. Relax in the indoor pool and hot tub. The hotel offers a variety of room types. Enjoy the free hot breakfast every day. For more information or to make reservations, call 1-877-334-1894.
Welcome back to Play Branson. We're here today with Christina Tabuchi. Christine, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm looking forward to this conversation and the audience really getting to know you better. But, a lot of Branson audiences know you because you've been on stage for a long time in Branson. And so kind of tell people about your Branson history. And you've been around for a while. Even you're still young, though.
Well, we moved here when I was about 3. And then Dad was performing in other shows. And when he was with Country Music World, Bill and Janet Daly, they would let me perform whenever I wanted to. I would come home from school and go up to the theater, and they'd be like, "Let's do it tonight." I'd be like, "Okay." So that was pretty awesome. And after that, in '89, we built our own theater. And from then on, it was doing the shows.
You just grew up on stage.
Yes, sir.
And so was there ever a time where you're like, I don't want to be on stage anymore? Or was that just part of
Never.
your normal life and you loved it?
I loved it. And in fact, people have asked me all the time, did your parents make you do it? No. My parents used it if you don't get your homework done, you can't do the show. They weren't messing around.
They gave you some incentives.
That was my incentive to act right.
Yeah. and so at the young age of 18, you became the vocal director of the show. And so what did that entail? And what happened then?
A lot of work. Because I was going through, that was my senior year of high school. and that was my first year of public school as well.
So you'd always been homeschooled.
Well, private school,
okay.
and then homeschool, and then my senior year I went for my diploma for my senior year. My parents weren't sure about me taking over the vocal department, but I was like, no, I got this. I really wanted to do it, and I knew I could do it. And it basically is, taking all the lyrics, writing all the lyrics down, making all the cuts to the songs, deciding, when you sing harmony, what those harmonies are, being able to teach those to the department.
Right.
The choreography, any backup choreography that we have, being able to know everybody else's position so that if someone's out, you can quickly cover their vocals and cover
Right.
their choreography.
Yeah. So you were doing a lot at a young age, and then what happened next?
After I graduated, I decided that I wanted to go to Nashville. I knew that I wasn't going to leave Branson and just go to Nashville. I knew that we would figure out a way that, I would go back and forth and still be able to do shows. But I went to Nashville in 2000, and bought a house, and I was there for 13 years, going back and forth between doing work in Nashville and coming back and doing shows here.
And there's not really a good road between here and Nashville. I mean, it's a tough drive if you're driving.
It changed a lot over the years, and it actually got a lot better.
Yeah.
So I had it down to 7 hours and 15 minutes, on the dot with my 2 stops.
There you go. There you go.
So Christina, you started performing at a very young age.
Yes.
I know you've got a sweet little girl. I see pictures all the time on Facebook. Tell us a little bit about her.
Oh, Miss Bailey J. She is 2.5.
Aw.
And I think the first time that she came out on stage, we have a number in the Christmas show where I bring all the kids on stage. And she was 3 weeks old and she came out.
Aw.
But this year in the show, she has her own little number. Her dad plays Beauty and the Beast, and she has a little lit bell dress that she comes
sweet.
out in and does a little dance and gives him a little kiss, and she goes off, and she loves it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So she's starting young.
She is, and everybody asks me, they're like, are you going to push for her to be on stage? And I'm not at all. Like, if she said she didn't want to do it tomorrow, I wouldn't make her do it, but she loves it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're not just one type of entertainer. You really do a big variety of things, even in the show. And so you sing, you dance, you play instruments. You're now the producer of the show, right? I mean, so you're doing everything, really.
I feel like I've spent my entire life watching my mom run that business and raise kids and do all the things that she's done, and I've tried to watch her and soak it up like a sponge. And I feel like I will never be able to be to the level that she is, but I strive every day to be as close to her as possible in all aspects of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, this is a good time for us to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment with Play Branson. We're back with Christina Tabuchi on Play Branson.
Well, Christina, we just talked a lot about the various roles that you have in your show. So tell us a little bit about the show this season and how you go about putting that together.
It is quite the process. First of all, I keep a list in my iPhone, and I keep track of songs all year long that inspire me for the next year, so that when it's time to put things together, I can go back through and I'll write down, I know what our inventory is of our costumes, so I'll make notes as we go, like we could possibly use the blue set or, just different things of what we can. And that way, when I sit down closer to time, I can just lay it all down and look at my notes, and I really just try very hard to put something in there for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, we have the Uptown Funk and
Bruno Mars.
And
it's awesome.
And you know, we have the Bob Wills and the Patriotic. So we have Queen. So Miranda Lambert. So we try to put in a lot for everyone, so everyone has a good time.
Awesome.
The show this year, I'm very excited about, because this year we really changed the show this year and have some new set pieces and costumes.
Cool.
So I'm very excited about that.
So we don't know exactly when this is going to air in relation to when you guys are going to open. And so we do have to tell our listeners that you guys had a fire, and it kind of has shaken things up a little bit.
We did. We unfortunately had a fire, and thank goodness no one was hurt, and it was contained. The Branson Fire Department did an excellent job. We did have quite a bit of smoke damage and water damage, and that's all still being assessed, and we're still trying to deal with what all needs to be fixed and done before we can reopen. So we're hoping mid-July that we'll be able to be up and going.
So hopefully, if this episode plays when it is,
Yes.
you will be open.
We
But
hope.
folks, if not, stay tuned, because I can tell you they want to open as soon as they can,
Yes.
and they want you to come see
Yes.
their show. And I did see the show earlier in the year, and it was great. There's
Thank
great
you.
variety.
Thank
and,
you.
You know, I think the nice thing about your show is you keep stuff. I mean, the variety is amazing, but like you said, you have new stuff in there. You have some stuff that's older and traditional. And so it's a great variety for really the whole family to come and see the whole show.
That's what we really, really try for. So thank you.
The other thing I like is during intermission, both you and your dad come down front, and you allow people to come and take pictures with you. And then, and so if they want to do that, they gotta get in there quick, because there's always a big long line to get their
Right.
picture taken with you. And but then they can also buy some of your original music, right?
Yes, I have a CD that's available at the theater, and Dad, of course, has his, and we have pictures that are available as well.
So you've got some other things that you're doing as well, right?
I do. I have a makeup line that I'm representing that we were talking about
Yes.
before, that all of this is, and that is unique, and I love it. I've been with it for 2 years now, and that website is theglammam.com, and that's where you can find all of those cosmetics.
And then you also have your own website for like
The show.
and all of that.
ChristinaLingoTabuchi.com.
And so they can follow you on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram.
All social media, YouTube, you can find me. You can find me everywhere.
And I mean, that's like a big difference. Like over like years ago, none of that existed.
I know, it's
and
crazy.
so like, is there a challenge as an entertainer, like with all that social media?
I think so. Just trying to remember to post things. You know, like when we go on tour, you know, you get so busy and you're like, no, people want to see this. So you've got to stop and remember to take pictures. And, you know, because people do, they love seeing behind the scenes and knowing what's going on and, you know, seeing what you're doing.
Yeah. So, folks, here's the deal. Be sure to go to those websites, ChristinaLingoTabuchi.com, and you can check it out there. And she actually has on that website links to all of her social media. I'd encourage you to go to ibranson.com if you want to book the Shoji Tabuchi show, and stay tuned, because they will be open soon. If they aren't now, when you see this aired, actually they could be open. So go there and you'll be able to find that out. And they run shows through the end of the year. Have a great Christmas show as well. And so one of the top traditions in Branson also for Christmas, which we really didn't talk about today. So we'll have to do that another day.
Yes.
And talk about Christmas
Sure.
more. But the other thing I do want to mention, coming up, we have Terry Fader coming up August 11th and 12th out at Welk Resort. And Grand Funk Railroad's going to be in town August 12th as well. And then Richie McDonald on August 13th. So those are some of our special events coming up here in Branson. soon. And so once again, go to ibranson.com to plan your entire vacation or call 1-877-ENTERTAIN. This has been another edition of Play Branson. Thanks for watching.